प्रभु जी माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम। जय श्री प्रभुपाद।
दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी। जय श्री प्रभुपाद।
धन्यवाद। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
So we'll begin now. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So this is chapter 14 of Nectar of Devotion. We just finished the 64 limbs of devotional service, and now Rupa Goswami is describing what is not one of the limb of bhakti. And yesterday we saw renunciation is not part of bhakti. Knowledge may help in the beginning, but dry knowledge is not part of bhakti. Um, okay, now wealth and students, um, that is also not part of bhakti. How many students one has, how many disciples one has, how many followers one has, how much wealthy one is, none of these is a measure of one's bhakti. The spiritual master must never be carried away by an accumulation of wealth or a large number of followers. A bona fide spiritual master will never become like that. But sometimes, if a spiritual master is not properly authorized and only on his own initiative becomes a spiritual master, he may be carried away by an accumulation of wealth and large number of disciples. So if the spiritual master is not properly authorized, so how is spiritual master authorized? Like in ISKCON, there is a board. There is a board of GBC in ISKCON um, who decides who can become a spiritual master, and it is very strict, and there are so many rules, and the whole history, so many references for one to become a spiritual master is like uh, one is like thoroughly proved in the entire society for over 4 decades, and have done so much before one actually takes the role of a spiritual master. But somebody may, like, there are some people um, who kind of become spiritual master by themselves and accept initiations by themselves, like independent spiritual masters. So here Prabhupada is telling, but sometimes if a spiritual master is not properly authorized and only on his own initiative becomes a spiritual master. Yeah, if somebody wants, I will give them the name, not authorized, but he or she himself takes the role for himself. He may be carried away by the accumulation of wealth and large number of disciples. Then he may have, and then he may compare. Oh, this devotee has this many disciples. I have this many. I need more disciples. Where can I get the wealth? Through my disciples. And one may be carried away. His is not a very high grade of devotional service. That bhakti is not good if one is doing like that. If a person is carried away by such achievements, then his devotional service becomes slackened. But if one is looking after something external, not really deepening one's relationship with Krishna, but um, a better name in the society, or maybe well established spiritual master, or something like that. Prabhupada is not a very high grade of devotional service. Um, um, and if one is externally motivated, um, then one's external motivation will slacken one's own devotional service. One should therefore strictly adhere to the principles of disciplic succession. Yeah. Sometimes one may say, oh, this spiritual master has that many disciples. This spiritual master has that many disciples. This spiritual master has only these many disciples. So this spiritual master is more advanced than this spiritual master because he has more disciples than this. So that is our material vision. Once once devotion cannot be, we cannot judge a spiritual personality. We cannot understand a devotion of somebody who is superior to us. We cannot understand. Um, like one example which is coming in my mind is Gaur Kishodhar Babaji Maharaj. He is very exalted, but he had only one disciple. Rupa Goswami, who is like we are all Rupa Nugas. Rupa Goswami has only one disciple, which is Jiva Goswami. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually did not give initiation to anybody. They were all followers of Lord Chaitanya, but not much mentioned about Mahaprabhu giving initiation to anybody. So based on how much wealth or how much student or how much projects, based on external, one should not make any judgment based on those factors. Then bhakti through intelligence, the ability of the basically, if we are intelligent or not, our bhakti is not dependent upon that. Bhakti is not dependent upon intelligence. Bhakti cannot be understood, cannot be judged based on one's renunciation, one's knowledge, one's number of disciples, one's projects or wealth or opulence, one's intelligence. These are not the angas or the limbs of devotional service. And what is intelligence? Prabhupada says the ability of the intelligence to distinguish things like spirit and matter is special because all spiritualists resort to it, but it is still not accounted or not counted as a part of sadhana bhakti. Self-realization is byproduct of sadhana bhakti, and there is no need to separately practice or cultivate it. So some people, intelligence, Prabhupada says intelligence means to distinguish between matter and spirit. Um, do you want this? Yes. It's a material desire. Fine. Do you want to fulfill this material desire? Yes. Can you distinguish what you are desiring is actually, is it matter or is it spirit? I don't think about it, but I want this. This is not very intelligent. Not able to distinguish between what is spiritual and what is material, or not thinking about it. But somebody who is very intelligent, this no, this is all temporary. What about this? This will lead me to suffering. Um, hmm. what about this? This will also lead me to suffering. Do you want these things? No. These things will lead me to suffering. I don't want them. Krishna, yes, I want Krishna. No, these things I don't want. Intelligent. Intelligent means can distinguish. Less intelligent cannot distinguish. Every transcendentalist depend on one's intelligence. This is good, this is not good. Yet, even if one is intelligent and is able to distinguish, still that intelligence is not counted as a part of sadhana bhakti. Um, because why? It is not, bhakti is not dependent upon that intelligence also. Why? Because intelligence will develop through bhakti. By attending devotional service, naturally one will start getting, one will, everything will come through bhakti. Basically, that's why it's not considered as, because it's a byproduct of bhakti. Self-realization is a byproduct of bhakti. It's a byproduct of bhakti. It's not a limb of bhakti. Knowledge is a byproduct of bhakti. Renunciation is byproduct of bhakti. Even project or disciples may be a byproduct of bhakti, may not be. It depends upon one's desire. Like one statement that Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes in Nectar of Instruction, a devotee, the level of a devotee can be known by how many hearts that person has transformed. So from that statement, it seems like more number of transformation of lives, many lives are touched, many lives are transformed, then that person is higher in devotion than others. Is it always true? Not necessary. It also, now okay, it is true. It's a perfect statement, but also the jiva should have a desire also to preach. There are two kind of people. There is Bhajananandi, Ghoshyanandi. Bhajananandi are mainly interested in their own sadhana, in their own spiritual practice, not much interested in preaching. Ghoshyanandi more interested in preaching, and they do their minimum sadhana, but more interested in outreach. And Krishna, Krishna, he reciprocates with one as one desires in a way. Okay. So these are all byproduct of bhakti. That's why they are not counted as the limbs of bhakti. Any questions so far? Any discussion? Yeah. Okay. The next is self-control and cleanliness. Self-control, very good for bhakti. Cleanliness, very good for bhakti. But still, these two things are not considered as the limbs of bhakti. Qualities like self control and cleanliness naturally develop in those who turn towards Krishna, but still they are not worthy to be included as practices of sadhana bhakti. Since these qualities develop automatically by sadhana bhakti, there is no need to separately practice or cultivate them. Self control will come as our bhakti further progresses. And we will become more and we will practice more and more external and internal cleanliness as we spend more and more time in devotion. Mm. Or, in other words, somebody is not practicing devotion but doing a lot of self control and being very clean, then it's not part of bhakti. But if one is performing bhakti, these things will come. So they are again byproducts, and that's why they are not considered as the part of sadhana bhakti. Skanda Puran, O hunter, it is not astonishing that you have good qualities like non-violence. For those who cultivate Hari Bhakti, never cause others to suffer. Um, so this is one example. I'm sure you all have heard about this story. He was a hunter, transformed by the mercy of Sri Narada Muni, gave up his hunting role. Hunter means very cruel. Why? Because for hunting we have to kill. And then his heart was not affected when he was half killing. They were like tadapna bolte hain, they were like extreme excruciating pain, and it would not uh, melt his heart. Even if the animal is crying excruciating pain, nothing will happen. Very hard hearted. Then Narad Muni gave him the path of devotion. He started chanting the holy names, surrendering to Lord, worshipping Lord. Then he developed all the qualities. One of the qualities he developed is non-violence. So later on, when Narad Muni and Parvat Muni were visiting, um, Mrigari, his name was Hunter. He saw his guru, he started running. And on the way, he saw there were ants walking by. So he didn't want to step on them. So he started with his outer cloth, upper cloth. He started moving them apart, clearing the way so he can go and meet his spiritual master. So Narad Muni said, it is not astonishing that you have good qualities like non-violence, but because of your bhakti, this has automatically occurred to you. Likewise, all these qualities of cleanliness, self-control, renunciation, knowledge, and everything else will come naturally as bhakti progress. In conclusion, all good qualities like external purity, internal purity, austerity, peacefulness fall at the feet of one who desires to serve Hari. Like one time, Ramapad Maharaj came Krishna house. Uh, we are desiring to bring him again. Conversation is going on. I think in June or July. Let's see if he makes it because it's long drive for Maharaj. Anyways, when he came after the class, devotees were telling the whole environment was very peaceful, like pin drop silence. Um, Peacefulness, all these things naturally fall at the feet of one who deserves to serve Hari, who desires to serve Hari. Just by worshiping Krishna, all these things will come. Vishwanath Chakravarti notes that if a person devoted to Hari does not possess all of these qualities, it does not mean that he or she is not truly devoted to Hari. It simply means that his or her devotion has not yet fully developed. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says somebody is a devotee, but he is not peaceful, he doesn't have self-control, um, he's not, he doesn't have renunciation or vairagya, he doesn't have knowledge, he doesn't keep himself very clean, um, he's still attached to wealth and other things, um, maybe lack mercy and maybe sometimes violent also. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says if all these things have not developed, all these qualities have not developed, does not mean that they are not devoted to Hari. They are devoted to Hari. They are devotees. They are devoted to Hari. But gradually, but the devotion has not fully developed. And if those who are dedicated to Hari, if they keep on stick to their dedication, stick to their rounds of chanting, to their seva services, gradually everything will come. Then singularity or plurality of sadhana. Um, This sadhana bhakti can involve one of the main practices or many of them. Can involve one practice or many of them. So singularity or plurality of sadhana. What does the topic mean? Singularity and plurality. So bhakti is rendered in 9 ways. There is hearing, there is chanting or glorifying, there is remembering, there is serving the lotus feet, there is offering prayers, there is worshipping the deity, acting as a servant, acting as a friend, and complete surrender. So these are the 9 limbs of bhakti. So singularity or plurality of sadhana means Should I do one? Should I do two? Should I do only hearing? Should I do hearing and chanting? Should I do hearing? Should I do only chanting? Should I do only remembrance? So singularity or plurality means, should I take one of the limbs of bhakti, all the limbs of bhakti, all 64, one of the 64, some of the 64? What is the? So the answer is everyone is potent. So now we will read. This is like singularity one, plurality many limbs of sadhana. So this sadhana bhakti can involve one of the main practices or many of them. You can do one, you can do many. Perfection will manifest if one steadily cultivates the practice one is naturally inclined to. How will one become perfect? One will become perfect if whatever you like to do in bhakti, steadily keep doing that. Steadily be steady doing the limbs of devotion that you are naturally inclined. Yesterday, one devotee, Brihad Mridanga Prabhu, was visiting and he asked this question, what inspires you? So one devotee said, Kirtan. Some devotees, actually, two, three devotees said, Kirtan, Kirtan, Kirtan. Steadily cultivate that practice. Different, some like chanting, some like serving, some like hearing, some like reading. I think these are pretty much the main ones. Some like deity worship. So Rupa Goswami says, whatever it is, whatever you, whatever is natural for you, um, steadily keep doing it. That will give you perfection. Each individual has unique inclination. Everyone has unique inclination. Some are more inclined to hearing, some to glorifying, some to remembering, some to praying, some to worshipping, etc. One can focus on the type of practice one is inclined to, even at the expense of other practices. So somebody may say, "Oh, I like to chant. I'm chanting too much, okay, but I don't like to read. I don't like to hear. I don't like to remember. I don't like to serve. Um, I whatever. One can focus on the type of practice one is inclined to, even at the expense of other practices. The other, you are not able to do much. You're not able to do at all, but you can do one more. Um, in any case, all the nine practices of sadhana are interconnected. So, practicing any one of them steadily will automatically involve the others. So, they are all interconnected. Chanting, hearing, remembering, offering prayers, surrendering, seeing Krishna as one's friend, seeing Krishna as like seeing Krishna as one's master, worshipping, they are all interconnected. You do what you like to do. Even if you're not able to do some other, you do what you like to do. Um, um, and what you like to do, since they're all interconnected, all the others will develop. If you just read, you will start offering prayers. You will start speaking, which is actually chanting, glorifying the Lord. You will start treating Krishna as one's master, and others will naturally come into it. This is very nice. One can focus on the type of practice one is inclined to, even at the expense of the other practices. If in any case, all the nine practices of sadhana are interconnected, so practicing any one of them steadily, you be on it, be steady on one anga of bhakti, one limb of bhakti, will automatically involve the others. Other limbs will start to connect to that. You be steady on one limb of bhakti. If one is inclined to all nine types of practice, one may also focus equally on all nine. Both singular focus, ekanga, or and plural focus, anekanga. Ek anga means one limb, anek anga means many limbs. Um, will be at the perfection, Bhava Bhakti. Anyone can take us to Bhava Bhakti. And here, um, all nine, it can be referred to all 64 also. basically. But these are the nine primary. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says among 64 limbs of devotion, nine are primary. Among these nine, two are primary, hearing and chanting. And among the two, one is primary, that is chanting. So we recommend stick to the chanting, as this is yoga dharma, the most important. And along with that, others, do more what you like to do. And if you do one or two at the expense of others, all the others will join you in that what you are naturally inclined to. And everyone has a natural inclination. And one or two or many, they all can take us to the desired goal, which is Bhava Bhakti. So there is example of singular focus. Like by hearing, Parikshit Maharaj attained perfection. By glorifying, Sukadev Goswami attained perfection. By remembering Prahlad Smaranam, Prahlad attained perfection. By Pad Sevanam, serving, Lakshmi attained perfection. By worshipping Archanam, Prithu Maharaj attained perfection. By offering prayers, Vandanam, Akrura attained perfection. By serving, Hanuman attained perfection. By friendship, Arjuna attained perfection. And by offering oneself entirely, surrender, Bali Maharaj attained perfection. So that shows they all attain perfection through singular sadhana, and through singular and through plural also. This is an example of plural focus, which is Maharaj Ambarish. His mind was fixed on Krishna's lotus feet. His words were doing kirtanam, glorifying the Lord. His hands were doing seva like Hanuman, cleaning the Lord's temple, Lord Hari's home. His ears were engaged in hearing, like Parikshit Maharaj discussing, hearing the glories of Lord Achyuta. His eyes were seeing the beautiful form of the Lord. His body was touching and embracing the Lord's servant or devotees. His nose was smelling the lotus flowers of Mukunda's lotus feet. His tongue was tasting tulasi offered to Lord Krishna. His feet were engaged in visiting the holy places, all with a desire for service, not self-indulgence. He was performing all the nine. This is plural focus. He is doing multiple, and he does develop love for the shelter of all, who is praised in the topmost poetry, and he develop love for Krishna through that. So you like one anga, you like some anga, you like many anga, you do what you like. If you don't like something, you do more what you like, you do very less what you don't like. And since they're all interconnected, one or many, singular or multiple focus, they all will take us to the desired goal, which is Bhava. Okay, that was the end of the 14th chapter. Are there any discussions so far? Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in the previous slide, it is mentioned that Hanumanji got the love for Krishna. So
Ah,
is it like, but he was the Ram Bhakt, so
yeah, same. Was love of Ram.
okay, Prabhuji.
Got perfection. Okay, any other question?
Prabhuji, one more question. So, like you already partially answered it, like out of nine, two are main, and among them, like chanting is the main. But like, is there any? So this like nine, starting from Shravanam Kirtanam. So is this in the ascending order of uh, ease to do, or like in random order?
Yeah. So no problem. They are not. There is no order in that problem. These are the nine ways one can render bhakti, and different devotees will have different inclination. And you take the anga more seriously that you like to do that more. Um, and also know that we should not judge anybody else. Somebody may be reading less, or we should not judge. Okay, now two things. Inferiority complex, superiority complex, both are bad. This should be avoided. Bhakti should be propagated, not I am better than somebody, or I am or I'm like I have inferiority complex that they are able to do, I'm not able to do. That negativity is also not good. Of course, humble mood is good, that I'm not a devotee, but that, so what is that? What is that? Somebody is doing samanga, somebody is chanting more, will be like, my life is useless, not required to think like that. Or somebody chanting more should not be thinking, oh, these people, they are very beginners. See me, I'm doing this. Both superiority complex, inferiority complex, not good. Somebody is hearing a lot, somebody is chanting so much, somebody is doing so much pujari seva, somebody is cooking so much for the Lord, doing lot of seva, and somebody just sitting somewhere and remembering the Lord so much, and somebody just sitting on a corner just doing kirtan. Don't think one is better than the others, but rather what is most important is our time is engaged in serving Krishna. How we want to serve Krishna is however Krishna inspires you. Keep Krishna in the center of what you do. You all will attain perfection. Clear?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
That vision requires a lot of maturity to think in that way. Everyone is serving Krishna. The seriousness of practice is everyone is engaged in serving Krishna according to their propensity. Krishna is pleased with everybody. Everyone can attain perfection, which is Bhava Bhakti. That's why if you see Bhagavad Gita, na, Krishna always emphasizes Bhaktya, 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 Bhaktya. Bhakti, 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 Bhakti. How you want to do? There are many options. You can choose anyone you like, anyone you feel inspired by. Okay, anything else? Otherwise, we have a very big topic coming up, which is Raganuga Bhakti. All right. Okay, so this is a very complex topic, and certainly I'm not qualified to discuss this topic. Um, Now we have come to the end of Sadhana Bhakti. We discussed what is Sadhana Bhakti. We discussed detail of the 64 items of Sadhana Bhakti. Um, we discussed what is not Sadhana Bhakti in the previous chapter, and we discussed um, uh, you can focus on any one of the limbs or many of the limbs, or and everyone can take you to the next stage, and then any of the limb can take you to the next stage, and the next stage is Raganuga Bhakti, which is devotion with attachment. It is called spontaneous devotional service. What is the difference between Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti and Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti? Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is done based on the scriptural injunctions, and Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti is the same limbs but done with attachment. Chanting, I am doing, my mind is disturbed, I cannot focus, I'm still doing the number of rounds I'm supposed to do, and I'm trying to serve Krishna. Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Or I'm chanting because I love to chant, I cannot live without chanting. When I chant, this happens, that happens, and I'm just super absorbed. Then you are practicing Raganuga Bhakti. The angas are the same, the limbs are the same, but one is because Guru Krishna Shastra says, one is because I love to do. So this is the subtle difference. Okay. Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. Bhakti that is distinctly and uniquely and spontaneously manifest. Bhakti that is distinctly and uniquely and spontaneously manifest in the Vrajavasis is called Ragatmika Bhakta. And bhakti that arises by following this ragatmika bhakti is called raganuga bhakti. Okay. So who is a ragat? Oh, Krishna. Uh, Ragatmika bhaktas are the residents of Vrindavan, not Bhama Vrindavan. They are the residents of, there is no difference, but they are the eternal associates of the Lord in Goloka. Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, Srimati Radharani, Lalita Vishakha, Rupa and Rati, Madhu Mangal, Stoka Krishna, Sri Dama, and Chatrak Patrak, all these eternal associates of the Lord. They are Ragatmika Bhakta. They all have a unique devotion. They all are distinct. They are all distinct, unique, and all of their devotion to Krishna is spontaneous. They all have spontaneous love for Krishna. Mother Yashoda, Lalita Vishaka, Rupalati, Madhu Mangal, Yashoda, but they all are very distinct. Their mood with Krishna is distinct. Some is more like laughing mood, some is more grave, some is more angry. So they're all of their devotion, all of them love Krishna to the core. All of their devotion is spontaneous. All of their devotion is distinct and unique. They all are eternal associate of the Lord. These are all Ragatmika Bhakta. Ragatmika Bhakta means they have attained perfection. Raganuga Bhakta are, Anuga means to follow. Raganuga Bhakta are who follow one of them. So, suppose Lalita Devi, Lalita Sakhi, one of the confidential servant or associate or friend of Srimati Radharani is Lalita Devi. Lalita Devi is Ragatmika. One devotee follows the mood of Lalita because her mood is distinct and unique. Vishakha mood is distinct and unique. Madhya Yashoda mood is again distinct and unique. One devotee may follow Lalita Sakhi because he is very inspired by Lalita Sakhi's devotion to Radha and Krishna, how she serves Radha and Krishna. And one hears about the mood of all, the mood which is distinct and unique of all the associates of the Lord. One hears about everybody, but one is specially attracted to how Lalita Sakhi serves Radha and Krishna. So those who want to become or serve Radha and Krishna like Lalita Sakhi, they will follow Lalita Sakhi. What does it mean to follow Lalita Sakhi? They will hear about Lalita Sakhi, hear how they serve Krishna. In the mind, assist Lalita Sakhi in serving Radha and Krishna in a way like a servant of Lalita Sakhi, a follower of Lalita Sakhi in the mind. Sadhana is happening in the mind, but the distinct and unique mood is like Lalita Sakhi. In that way, we are trying to serve Radha and Krishna. So the devotee who is following Lalita Sakhi is Raganuga Bhakta. Lalita Sakhi is Ragatmika Bhakta. Raganuga Bhakti is a state of practice. It's not perfection. Perfection is not yet attained. One still has impurities, but one is inclined in one direction. So Raganuga Bhakta is not a pure devotee. He's still a sadhana bhakti. He's trying to become a like an eternal associate of the Lord, a Ragatmika Bhakta. Ragatmika is pure. Raganuga is a follower or uh, he's trying. He's doing his sadhana in this way. But his spontaneous to Radha and Krishna is his love for Radha and Krishna to some extent spontaneous. It's very mature, not fully mature, but it's quite mature that one is able to feel that mood and one is able to recognize how one wants to serve Krishna. So some revelation is there. So this is Raganuga Bhakta, Ragatmika Bhakta. Okay, how are we doing? Did we understand these two words, Ragatmika and Raganuga? Any question on them?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji, the For example, like Srila Prabhupada is also an eternal associate of the Lord. So if they're his disciples, for example, they want to follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada, like he's also a Ragatmika, right? So, like,
Mm.
is that possible, or do we, I mean, do they follow only, I don't know, like very famous Brajvasis?
Yeah. So, Srila Prabhupada, one can follow, but one need to know who is Srila Prabhupada in Krishna Leela. What is his unique and distinct mood in Krishna Leela? When one knows Srila Prabhupada eternal service, Srila Prabhupada is a Ragatmika Bhakta, agreed. But how can we follow if we don't know?
Right, Prabhuji. I'm not asking about myself. I'm just like thinking, can his
Yeah.
disciples also like think in that way? I was just wondering. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Clear, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. More will come. More is coming in future. About how one practices Raganuga Bhakta in two ways. One is internally, one is externally. And how Mahaprabhu comes in the picture. That will further clarify this question. Okay. Any other question? Or
So,
is
so,
everyone? Ah,
so basically, Ragatmika is like topmost. Is that kind of can say?
वास्तु सिद्धि बोलते हैं प्रभु जी.
Okay.
वास्तु सिद्धि means absolute perfection. Absolute perfection. Raganuga Bhakta. Raganuga Bhakta, I want to become like them.
Okay.
I like their mood more than anybody else's mood. This speaks to me. This speaks to me the most. That's like Krishna revealing us our eternal Swabhav. And one that is real mercy of Krishna, one identifies that. But that may take a long time. Everything is then the bhakta who follows that Ragatmika Bhakta is Raganuga. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. If you're not asking question, I'm hoping because the concept will build further. It's very important to grasp each and every word now so that fathom it so that as we build further, things are clear. Okay. I'm going to the next one. Two types of Ragatmika Bhakta. Uh, Ragatmika Bhakti is of two types, Kamanuga and Sambandha Rupa. Kama Rupa, desire to have the Lord as one's beloved. Kama Rupa Ragatmika Bhakta is one who serves Krishna in a Madhurya relationship or like a boy and girl relationship. It's called Madhurya. Madhurya is like gopis and Krishna, Radharani and Krishna. This type of relationship is called Madhurya. It's also called Shringar Ras or called Madhurya Ras. So Ragatmika Bhakta, like Lalita Sakhi, Vishaka Sakhi, Rup and Rati, Srimati Radharani, they are Kama Rupa Ragatmika Bhakta. And um, um, any other relationship, like a friendly relationship, parental relationship, servant relationship, they are Sambandha Rupa. So these are two kind of Ragatmika Bhakta. Feeling of relationship with the beloved, desire to have the Lord as one's beloved, and feeling of relationship with the beloved. Um, so Kama Rupa, how Rupa Goswami discussed very interestingly, desire to have the Lord as one's beloved. He is my lover. Like a desire to have the Lord as one's beloved. He is my beloved. So this is Kama Rupa. Again, it's Madhurya basically. He is my beloved. Um, or feeling of relationship with the beloved. I have a relationship with him. I am his eternal friend. I am his eternal servant. I am his eternal kind of elder Gopa or Gopi or parent. I have an eternal relationship, feeling of relationship with the beloved, and desiring to have the Lord as one's beloved. He is my. This is Kamarupa. Kamarupa is most advanced. Krishna is my. He is my beloved. Or I have a relationship with Krishna. Um, Kama Rupa and Sambandha Rupa. Clear?
Prabhuji, so friendship and paternal love will come under Sambandha Rupa, not servitorship?
Servitorship also.
Okay.
All others are Sambandha Rupa.
Like all others, like all four, or the other ones also?
And the four others, total 5 है ना? Madhurya Ras, Kama Rupa, all the others Sambandha Rupa.
Okay.
Feeling of relationship, I have a relationship with Krishna. Or Krishna is my beloved. Or I have a relationship with him. What is my relationship? I just want to play with him.
Okay, makes sense, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like, clear? Kama Rupa Ragatmika. What is Ragatmika Bhakta? What is Raganuga Bhakta? What is Kama Rupa Ragatmika Bhakta? What is Sambandha Rupa Ragatmika Bhakta? So if you're not asking question, I'm assuming everyone is clear. Okay. 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 This is from 7th canto. Many persons have attained liberation simply by thinking of Krishna with great attention and giving up sinful activities. This great attention may be due to lusty desires, inimical feelings, fear, affection, or devotional service. I shall now explain how one receives Krishna's mercy simply by concentrating one's mind upon him. So, this we have to analyze this little bit because the future slides is an analysis of this slide. So, try to understand this slide very nicely. Based on this slide, Rupa Goswami gives some conclusions. So, I will read it again slowly. Many persons have attained liberation simply by thinking of Krishna with great attention. Whoever thought of Krishna with focus attained liberation. They gave up their sinful activities, they attained liberation. How? They thought about Krishna with great attention. But what was their mood? How were they thinking about Krishna? Their great attention, maybe they were thinking about Krishna out of lust. Krishna is my beloved. I want to marry Krishna. Or, I mean, we don't propagate that relationship in Gaudiya Vaishnavism. It's a different topic. But there were gopis who practiced a vrata, a 1 month austerity. It's called Katyayani Vrata, to marry, to have Krishna as their husband. And when they would see Krishna, their mind was like feeling here and there, so much attached to the form of Krishna. The way Krishna talks, the way Krishna smiles, the way Krishna looks, the way Krishna plays his flute, the way Krishna walks, the way Krishna dances. So it awakes that lusty desire. And this lusty desire is basically love. It's pure love. It's not selfish. It's just like their mind was so absorbed in Krishna. Great attention. Great attention. Thinking of simply by thinking of Krishna with great attention. But they were thinking of Krishna out of pure love. Then inimical feelings. Inimical feeling means I hate Krishna. Why? Because he is getting so much. Everybody likes him so much. Everybody wants him. Nobody wants me. Everybody glorifies him. They're not glorifying me. He is becoming the center of everybody, not me. Shishupal. Example. He is always thinking of Krishna out of envy, inimical feeling. But he's thinking of Krishna with great attention. I hate him. Then fear comes up. Thinking of Krishna, Krishna will come. Ah, then Kamsa would sleep. Then Kamsa would see um, 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 Krishna is sleeping next. Krishna is next to me. Krishna is not next to me. Then again he would sleep, and he would see Krishna is coming with his. And this is like Kamsa was miserable, constantly out of fear of Krishna. He's constantly thinking of Krishna. I will, whom do I send? Like, actually, Darpok actually comes out. Very powerful. But he was constantly thinking of Krishna out of fear with great attention. Then, out of affection, there are many who are thinking of Krishna out of affection, like Pandavas. Pandavas are thinking of Krishna out of affection. Madhav, my friend, Madhav will come. Kunti is thinking, oh, hey Krishna, hey Govinda, hey Madhava, help me. Like they have Yudhishthira Maharaj. Go and see. There is affection. Go and see what is Krishna up to. What is his next plans? Go and find out. He tells Arjuna. Arjuna is so eager. So much affection Arjuna has. And Krishna has for Arjuna. My Lord, I slept with you, I ate with you, I joked with you, please forgive me. I did not understand your supreme personality of God, and I was just very casual with you. So because there is a spontaneous affection or devotional service, or one may just hear about Krishna or glorify Krishna, and one may be in great attention to Krishna just by practicing any of the nine limbs of devotional service. So one may focus one's mind to think of Krishna, either motivated by loving desires or envy or fear or affection or devotional service. So many persons have attained liberation simply by thinking of Krishna with great attention. So here this is Narad Muni actually telling to Maharaj Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira Maharaj is telling, tell me about this supreme personality Krishna. The Narad Muni is telling in the assembly. Narad Muni is telling to Yudhishthira Maharaj, listen, I'll tell you about this person. You think of him in any ways, you will be liberated. You think of him out of love, out of envy, out of fear, any way out of affection, and anybody thinks of him because he is all pure. You think of him out of any means, you will become purified because you are contacting pure. It doesn't matter what is your motive when you are contacting him. The moment you touch him, the moment you contact him in your mind, because he is full pure, you will become pure and be liberated from this world. Because the person you are thinking for any reason is absolute. Uh, then Narad Muni says, I shall now explain how one receives Krishna's mercy simply by concentrating one's mind upon him. So Narad Muni says, I will further explain this concept now. Just by thinking of him, by any reason, one can receive his mercy. Just by thinking of him. Okay, okay. Any question here? Is this verse clear? Think of Krishna in any means and you will be benefited by any feeling. Okay. Okay. Now then, my dear Yudhishthir, further Narada Muni explained to Yudhishthir Maharaj, my dear King Yudhishthir, the gopis by their lusty desires, Kamsa by his fear, Shishupal and other kings by envy, Yadus by their familial relationship with Krishna, you Pandavas by your great affection for Krishna, and we, the general devotees, by our devotional service. Like Narad Muni is a bhakta. So Narad Muni is always glorifying Krishna, chanting the name of Radhika Ramana, and playing his veena. So this is his by, and we, the general devotees, by our devotional service, have obtained the mercy of Krishna. Shishupal also attained. Shishupal was liberated. Kamsa was liberated. The gopis were liberated. Um, of course, some of the gopis are eternal associates of Krishna, and some were sadhakas who may have some impurity still remaining. The tinge was still remaining. They also remembered Krishna out of pure love, out of affection, out of love, that you know, lusty desires, out of love, attraction to him, and they became fully purified through that. Pandavas, Yadus, and we all have obtained mercy of Krishna simply because we thought of Krishna out of one feeling or another. This is an example of Shishupal was always thinking of Krishna, um, and he was envious of Krishna. He criticized Krishna more than 100 times, and Krishna released his Sudarshan Chakra, cut off the head of Shishupal, and so that the Rajasuya sacrifice of Maharaj Yudhishthira does not get destroyed or does not get contaminated. When Krishna cut off the head of Shishupal, not even a drop of blood fell on the ground. The blood as it is froze, both the blood to the head and the blood to the torso. Everything froze, not even a single drop of blood fell down. And Shishupal was liberated because he was constantly thinking of Krishna out of inimical feeling. And here in the picture we see how Kamsa was so Krishna like गए आपका काम हो गया, you are done now. And Kamsa is so much fearful, and he was so attentively thinking of Krishna out of fear of death. Um, he attained liberation, and this is gopis and constantly thinking of Krishna. They attain perfection, and this is Pandavas, Kunti and Draupadi. Such loving affection they have for Krishna. They attain perfection. Um, and then Narad Muni says, somehow or other, one must consider the form of Krishna very seriously. Somehow or other, think of the form of Krishna. Then, by one of the five different processes mentioned above, either you think of Krishna out of lusty desires, out of, or basically love, like a Madhurya love, or you think of him out of envy, or you think of him out of fear, think of him out of any way. It's next. Uh, Somehow or other, one must consider the form of Krishna very seriously. Then, by one of the five different processes mentioned above, one can escape the cycle of birth and death. A thief like King Vena, however, being unable to think of Krishna's form in any of these five ways, cannot attain salvation. Therefore, one must somehow think of Krishna, whether in a friendly way or inimically. So, Vena was a very envious king. Vena degraded. No good happened to him. Shishupal was also envious. Vena was also envious. Shishupal was envious of Krishna. Vena was envious just by nature. Vena, no good thing happened to him. Shishupal attained liberation. Why? Because his object of envy was Krishna. So somehow or other, think of the form of Krishna very seriously by any means, and you can attain salvation. Somehow or other, whether friendly way or whether inimically, somehow or other think of Krishna. Therefore, by enmity or by devotional service, by fear, by affection, or by lusty desires, by all of these, or any one of them, if a conditioned soul somehow or other concentrates his mind upon the Lord, the result is the same. For the Lord, because of his all blissful position, is never affected by enmity or friendship. If Krishna is completely transcendent, not affected by what feelings others have, but is just any living entity contact Krishna by any means with any feeling, they will be benefited. So now these verses, Rupa Goswami, he discusses these verses, and now he brings many points out that I wanted to discuss now. Okay, I think we'll probably stop here, and this presentation is a little bit complex, but we will build on it next week, I think. So are there any discussion so far? Any question?
Prabhuji, is that able to hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Right. Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, like, what are the two types of Raganuga Bhakti you said? Like, one is
Kama Rupa,
Kama Rupa and
Sambandha Rupa.
Sambandha Rupa. Okay. Kama Rupa. So how do we classify Mirabai in the like
Kama Rupa.
Kama Rupa, right? Okay.
All right.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So if no other question, thank you all for joining. Grateful. One chakal. If I spoke anything wrong, please forgive me as a humble servant. One chakal pataru besha kripa sindhu be evacha. Patitanam pavane vaishnavi ananta koti vaishnavi. Thank you very much. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Mandu Prabhuji ki jai.
Ananta koti vaishnavi. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Thank you.